So how do you do it? How do you keep people together and work seamlessly with you?
Well, the key there is really to be able to inspire and motivate people.
Joy to be here with you today, and wherein we are going to talk about interesting stories and experiences, musings on life and love, words of wisdom, and talk to people who are successful and who can inspire us. Welcome to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Charie Ginete-Ilon. And of course, today I am with my very dear friend. He is my icon of success. He is a successful businessman, a very much respected civic leader, a loving husband, and a devoted father. And of course, he is an inspiration to many. Welcome to my podcast, Life Expressions, Attorney Jobert Penaflorida. Hi, Bert. Attorney Jobert. Hi.
Good day. We say maayong adlaw wherever you are, or wherever your viewers are, or in different parts of the world. We miss you in Iloilo and in the Philippines.
Oh, and I definitely miss you too. And of course, I miss the Philippines and Iloilo, and of course, Bacolod. And we are crossing
Mhm.
borders, Bert, no? Diba? We are breaking barriers because I am from Vancouver and you are there in Iloilo. Kagdo wala lang, thanks to technology.
Mhm.
Okay, so Bert,
True, no? And it is always a joy to talk to you because you are the ultimate when it comes to TV hosting and newscasting. It's the Charie Ginete-Ilon.
oh wow, I take that as a big compliment coming from you, no?
Mhm.
Attorney Jobert Penaflorida. Kilalang kilala, TV Patrol, 'di ba?
Mhm.
Multi-awarded. Anyways, Bert, you wear many hats. Tell us what you do.
Well, I do a lot of things. Principally, I manage my own company. I have my Fiesta Favorite Souvenirs, and we have branches and outlets all over the Philippines. And that makes me a full time entrepreneur. At the same time, I'm also a community volunteer. I would like to look at myself as that. I'm the president of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Iloilo. And at the same time, I am also president of the Iloilo Festivals Foundation Incorporated, both pro bono and civic activities that I do in order to help the community, and a full-time father and hopefully a loving husband as well.
I'm sure Rhea would say a loving husband. So kadamo-damo, you've got plenty
Mhm.
of things in your plate. So what are your priorities? Or do you manage your time and manage yourself so that you give your best in all these hats?
Well, of course, the matter of time management is very important. But I know my priorities, and at the end of the day, for me, what is important is my being a family man. Of the different hats that I wear on a day-to-day basis, I never forget the core. No? And the core is always the family. Now, for me, the best role that I continue to perform is a role of a father, and at the same time, a partner to my wife as well. No? I know my priorities, and for me, that is the most significant and the most heartwarming.
That is wonderful because we take
Mhm.
inspiration from our family. But
Mhm.
Bert, in business and in your civic work, you always succeed in any endeavor that you take upon yourself. How do you do it and how do you make it happen?
Well, I think that's the impression. No? Some people would even say I have the Midas touch, no? Insofar as doing activities or doing business. But more than that, it's really hard work. No? And there are also many challenges. There are also a lot of areas for improvement and concerns, especially now that we are in the midst of the pandemic.
Yes.
Managing your business or keeping it afloat has remained a major challenge, not only to me, but to all businessmen and entrepreneurs as well. So it's really a question of knowing your priorities, knowing what is important, managing your time well. But
Yes.
I know how to compartmentalize my life, so to speak,
Yes.
and I always find time not to distress, to unload from the burden, to do things that are even trivial. So that I go back to my core and realize I am an ordinary person, no? And that keeps me my feet on the ground. and and makes everything real, so
That
to
is
speak.
very good. But I would like to go back to the part when you said that you are also facing challenges, especially this time of pandemic. What are the major challenges that you have faced so far in this time?
Well, the major challenges is the fact that my business is in the tourism industry, and we know for a fact that tourism, regardless of what country in the world, has been the most affected. So, how do you continue to stay afloat in the midst of the pandemic? And there are challenges because, of course, with all the health protocols, with all the restrictions insofar as travel is concerned,
Yeah.
uh, the market, there is practically no market to talk about. So
Yeah.
you have to find creative ways in order to keep your business afloat, if not to survive, if not to thrive, at least to survive and to provide people with work. Now, so for me, now is not the time to talk about profit. Now is the time to find ways in order to be able to sustain your business and to give employment to your people. And that's the challenge. Now, so one after the other, we try to reopen our stores as the local economy in the Philippines has started to reopen as well. And you always do a balancing act between doing business and at the same time ensuring that health protocols are not compromised, because at the end of the day, your health and the health of your people are what are the most important. Although, of course, reality dictates that you also want to give them employment at this particular time. So you have to be creative, even in terms of allocating the time, so that more
Yes.
people will have work at this time. Now, when there is a pandemic.
Yes, that is very conscientious of you to think not only of yourself, but the people who work for you. That is what
Mhm.
we really need to survive and to help one another. Especially, I could just feel for other businessmen whom you have said that are suffering because we don't have market now for
Mhm.
tourism. But yes, you've got to be creative to be able to continue to provide for your family and for the people who work for you. That is wonderful. You've mentioned earlier that because you wear many hats, of course, you've got to compartmentalize the things that you do and you find time to distress. How do you distress?
I ensure that I do not work really beyond the usual working hours. No, so I put a cap. Now,
Yeah.
unless it is really important and very urgent, I do not extend working beyond the usual office hours. No, unless it's an urgent email that I have to respond to,
Yeah.
I would park working and do other things. And I enjoy, now that it's a pandemic, and to be able to observe proper health protocol. I'm also the cook in the house.
Wow.
I'm the chef. Now, so those
Wow.
are things that I enjoy doing. Now, so I cannot respond to you earlier because I still have to prepare for lunch. Now, so
Wonderful.
these are the simple things.
Yes.
Washing the dishes is a good
Yes.
break. Now,
Yeah.
so while listening to the news, I would wash the dishes while my wife is cleaning the house,
Wow.
and while we are doing different stuff. Now, so we divide household chores among ourselves, and that makes it very interesting. And you try to when I say I compartmentalize my time, I ensure that I provide some free time for myself, where I read, I browse the internet, I do the simple things, not even trivial. I
Yeah.
don't try to burden myself with heavy stuff when it's my personal time. Now,
Yes.
so I only dwell on things that are positive and that are relaxing,
Mhm.
and do not burden myself with too serious things to read or to do when it's my me time as well.
Oh, that's good. And then you find joy in everything that you do, even the trivial things. That's what matters
Mhm.
most. Bert,
Mhm.
even if you are facing this challenge right now because of the pandemic, keeping your business afloat is already a manifestation of your success. Even before the pandemic, your business
Mhm.
is already thriving. So, what do you think is the key to success?
Well, the key to success really is finding the thing that you would like to do and enjoy doing it. No, and it always has to boil down to what is your intention. No,
Yeah.
because if you are doing something that does not only benefit yourself but the greater good, then there is a genuine reason to work on a project. So for me, success is really finding joy as well as significance in the things that you are doing. And in so doing, you become a blessing to others.
Wow, that's wonderful. Bert, you are truly a leader. You have the ability to inspire, to lead, and make people do the things that they ought to do to reach your goal for a certain event or for a certain organization. So, how do you do it? How do you keep people together and work seamlessly with you?
Well, the key there is really to be able to inspire and motivate people. I am, aside from my business, when it's your business, then you can give instructions. You are people are being paid to follow your instructions, so to speak. But when you are doing things for civic as well as community organizations, you are all volunteers. So
Yeah.
it's really a question of being able to solicit the support of the community by inspiring people. Now,
Yeah.
by giving them due respect, by at the same time providing them with a creative space within which to be able to demonstrate their abilities, and giving them credit where it is due. And I always believe in consultative and inclusive leadership. So
Yeah.
whenever I do a project, I believe in the value of bringing the stakeholders together
Yeah.
and listening to them, not trying to outline the different suggestions that they make and narrow down what are the most practical, and work with people who share the same vision as you have. Now, so example in organizing activities for Dinagyang, which is really a major activity, so to speak.
And
You deal with so
congratulations.
many volunteers. Thank you. You deal with so many volunteers from all walks of life. Now, so and these are not your employees. So how do you bring out the best in all of them? So it has to be an inclusive leadership. You try to share you try to share whatever resources and the limelight with them, and you empower them. Now you have to believe in their abilities to deliver, and give them creative space and exercise only proper monitoring, or be available whenever there is a need to enter the picture.
Yeah. That's great. Bert, in all the years that I've known you, I could only recall that you have been successful in all the things that you do. Was there any a time that you have not reached the goal that you have set for yourself or for an organization that you have worked with?
Well, of course, most of the time, if majority of the different things that I do, I am blessed now with very good results. But there are also times, like especially Miss Charie, when you do business, you realize that there are certain misses as well. Now,
Mm.
so not all the time that you would be able to achieve your objective. That's why I always would tell entrepreneurs that you have to be sensitive now when you are doing business, and you feel the presence of the Lord as well.
Yeah.
Where am I most blessed? And that is where you focus your attention. In my case, there was a time when my wife and I also ventured into food. And well, we feel also that we are blessed. We felt that the challenges are simply too many, that it takes too much of our time, no?
Yeah.
Even our personal time. No? So while we were able to make good of our food business, we felt that is not where we are meant to be. Now,
Mm.
if you are sensitive of feeling God's presence in the things that you do, you would realize that sometimes there are businesses that you are not really that you are not fit for. No? So like, even if you enjoy food, it doesn't mean that you will succeed in the food business. No? So we gave it up, not because it is not doing well, but because we feel that it is eating too much of our
Yeah.
family time as well as free time. So if you ask, there are also ventures that are like that. And when you put up branches, also,
Yeah.
you realize that there are stores that you would think would do well, but would not be able to deliver. Now, for example, a store, for example, in Palawan, you would say it's a tourist destination, but it does not perform as well as Boracay. Now,
Mm.
so and I realized by also looking into other businessmen that there are really ventures that that you do not succeed, and you cut your losses, then move forward.
Yeah, okay. Number one in the food business, you just know your priorities because your priority is also, of course, your
Mhm.
personal time. So that is good, and that you have acknowledged that and you move forward. What do you think would be
Mhm.
the major learning for every businessman who would not be able to succeed in a business that they would want to venture on, like you? So the major learning is that the acceptance, and what's next?
You have to be very sensitive. In our case, that is what I have always been saying. Sometimes you have the best plans, you have the best intentions, you may have the best location,
Yeah.
but in our case, my wife and I would always be very sensitive. Is the Lord blessing me in this particular field?
Mhm.
Now, because sometimes you are interested in doing that, but
Yeah.
you would also feel the. That's right. For me, we are always sensitive. Is this the venture that the Lord would also want us to pursue?
Yeah.
And more often than not, if you are sensitive, then you realize that. There are certain instances when you are being redirected.
Yeah.
And when you are an entrepreneur or a businessman, it will not always be beautiful days all the time. No? There will be challenges, and you try to make the most. If you have ventures that would pose challenges, you try to find ways to overcome it, to do better. But up to a certain extent, then you also know when to hang your gloves, so to speak, and say this is enough, and I have to move on to another one. Now,
Yes.
so you also have to learn to cut your losses when it is necessary, and look into other ways, pivot your business into a different direction, and pursue another line,
Yeah.
because this is where sometimes when doors are being closed, or I always believe that when some doors are closed, windows are likewise open. And if there are no windows, open the roof.
Perfect. Yes, that is so true. And sometimes yes,
Mhm.
you are being redirected to a better direction to move you to where you really ought to be, correct? So, Bert, you have been successful in many aspects. We have said that. But what else are your aspirations?
That's a very interesting question. I've always been asked about my aspirations in life. Frankly speaking, I do not have much. No, so maybe because I feel I am doing more than enough, and there are even times when I consider lying low in the things that I do.
Yeah.
But I always believe in following God's mission. No, what I realize, Miss Charie, is that sometimes the things that you do now or in the past, that Lord has a way of connecting things and events, and you will be surprised with the kind of puzzle or the kind of roadmap that He is leading you into. So, if you ask me about aspirations, I do not have any highfalutin aspirations, so to speak. But I always make myself available to where the Lord wants me to go. Now, and there are things that that I do not seek, and yet uh, these are things that come to me is sometimes in a silver platter, or even without asking for it. And there are even times when I question, why do I have to do this? But I always feel that I have to be obedient. I follow God's direction,
Mhm.
and wherever he directs you, He provides, and He will provide abundantly.
That is wonderful. Maybe because you are wonderfully blessed and abundantly blessed because you follow God's will for you and you lift up everything to Him. I would say that you don't aspire for yourself, God aspires for you and He does things for you.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
And
Bert,
you will be surprised.
yeah,
Yeah, because there are things that I would even question, why is the Lord leading me to do certain things, no? And but well, I have to be obedient and I have to follow Him. Now, even in some of the community service that I have to go into, I'm asking the Lord, why am I doing all of this? No, in fact, for Dinagyang, I would always say I do it for Senor Santo Niño, and that's it.
yeah,
Now, because I could find no reason, because these are just pro bono, no,
yeah,
voluntary work, purely on you try to help your community. But at the end of the day, I follow where the Lord leads me. I will follow, and where He leads me, He will provide.
Where do you get your energy? Where do you get your inspiration?
It all boils back to your family, no? So if you have a very supportive family, if you have a good core, no, then you can always go back to your core and draw inspiration and strength from your family. So I would talk about my family, my wife, my daughter, my two sisters, my
Yes.
sister in the US and my sister here. These are people that I value the most, no? And I go back to my core, and that makes me a real and a better human being. No, I draw also the strength from the Lord. No, at the end of the day, you follow God's will,
Yeah.
and sometimes it is hard to understand, no, why the Lord is leading us to a certain direction and letting us do certain things.
Yes.
But He knows best, and He knows how to connect things and events, and it will always be for your good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome and so
Mhm.
inspiring too. I could only hope to emulate you in all that you do and in all that you say. The way you live is just inspiring and so aspirational as well. Bert, what is your guiding principle? What is your philosophy in life?
My philosophy in life is to pursue success with integrity and honor. Now, I think that is most important, and that I will be a recipient of God's blessings so that I will be a blessing to others.
Oh, wonderful. Indeed, you are a blessing to many, and I'm one of those whom you have blessed. Thank you so much.
And vice versa, because you are a blessing to me and to
Thank
our family. No? You have done a lot of wonderful things as well, and that is what we should do in life. No, we pay forward as well. No, and we just continue to do what is good, because it does not require the person that you help to return that favor. The universe is a way of bringing it back to you in so
Perfect.
many ways.
Very well said. You are indeed my icon of success. Wonderful.
And
Won-
so are you.
You are an inspiration, Bert. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm pretty sure that our listeners, our audience, have learned a lot and have been inspired from what you have shared. Your life is so inspiring. Continue to be a blessing, and may God bless you more. Thank you, Bert. Thank you for guesting
Thank
in
you, and
my
see you
show.
soon.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you once again, and it's good to talk to you. I hope that you will continue to be happy, good health always, and well, this pandemic hopefully will be over soon. Yeah, all right. So
See you soon.
see you soon. This has been Life Expressions. I'm your host, Charie, and you've just heard Attorney Jobert Penaflorida.